So we have gone through and sanded down all of these joints so that they're flush, and on all of the surfaces inside that we're going to be touching, we've kind of rounded off the corners so that it is more pleasant to touch.
Don't want to snag any clothes that we put in there or whatever.
Yeah.
10 steps to mounting this frame to the ceiling. We need to fill some holes with great stuff. Number one, they are left over from taking out the roof air conditioner. Get the wires pushed up and away and these walls reinstalled. We need to center the frame on these two mounting strips. Screw our brackets into the ceiling, which are here. We have now bent to come down at the correct angle to match up with these inside braces. A trace around them on the outside so that we can create pilot holes, which is step 6. Cover the sticks with Luan, that's why this is called a stick build, these are the sticks. We're going to follow what we traced on the inside of these inside verticals and create little slots so that when we come back in, after this is covered with Luan, we'll have a little slot to slide this through as we raise it up to the ceiling. Now that we're going to do a dry foot to make sure that those little slots that we created are big enough and that everything lines up. Do any type of fixing and then paint and stain. One variable that we have to watch out for is we can't just mount it flush to this, because whoever put this here when they installed the rear air conditioner did this end a ½ inch higher than that side. And so if we make it flush to this, our cabinets will be
Wonky.
wonky.
We don't want wonky cabinets.
Simple 10-step process. All right.
Cool. Okay, so we are still working in the van. Bus. Oh my gosh. So we filled these holes with great stuff. Still got the water sealing tape on the outside, and then this is just giving it a little bit more structural integrity, we think, from the inside. Left one open because that's where the solar wiring is probably going to come down into the bus. So it'll come down kind of inside these overhead cabinets here. When we got it, it has these panels that kind of sat here-ish in the back. We took those out. They only came up to like here. Hi, Andy. They only came up to here because then the air conditioner unit covered the rest of it. So our overhead cabinets are only going to come to here-ish. You can see. There, so not all the way to the wall. And so we need them to fill the rest of that gap. So we are recutting them like this to fill that gap more than they did before. The ceiling is going to come down kind of at an angle and cover the rest of that nastiness. I think that's it. So before we put this corner piece back up, we realized that we need to be able to run the solar wiring. We wanted to run that behind that wall. And so we are throwing in this piece of conduit to let us just kind of, it'll stay behind the wall and we'll be able to just kind of shove the wire into it, and it should follow it all the way down. So then I'm just practicing pushing it in, and it just is really easy, it goes right in. So that should do it for us, and we're prepared to run our solar wiring that way before we actually get the wall up. So this is so dumb, and this is why building vans and buses is dumb. So we're trying to mount the cabinet here, and this comes out a certain amount from the wall, and the wires come out a certain amount from the wall, and this comes out even further from the wall. And so when we put it on, it's tipped forward that direction and just like looking down, and we want it to be level. And so in order to have this move back, this is what's pushing it forward. We are going to split this conduit, take the wires out, and just move them, just split them into 2 different bundles so that they aren't bulging so far away from the wall, so that this can move back. and hopefully let the cabinet stand upright. A lot of work for a tiny little thing, but it will be nice when it's done. Yeah, it's just tiny little things like that that just take a lot of time and effort and figuring out what's the best way to do it, because we were talking about just building out, like adding a few furring strips down here to like build out the bottom so that it would be level at that, but then we're losing space in the bedroom and we're not gaining any storage space. So if we can tip that back from the top, it's gonna be much better. This is the other stupid thing. This furring strip that's up here is not level with the floor, and so we're like, oh well, whoever put it in just obviously wasn't paying attention and did it a little wonky, and so we can't use that to be level for our cabinets. And it is perfectly level with the top of the window. It's 10 inches all the way across. So it's level with the window, but not level with the floor, which means the window is not level with the floor. So we have to decide if we want our cabinets to be level with the window or level with the floor. But we're not gonna be able to see the floor because the bed's gonna be built up. So we're gonna make it level with the window. But just weird that we have to choose between which level are we matching it to. Alright, so that's about the thickness that it used to be, and now with those, so these two were in the same bundle before, that's what them separated out, so I think we're actually saving some space that way. I need to get this before we finish it. We have this wonderful high quality power shot, which shoots little nails out to attach the loo on. And that's what it's supposed to look like after it comes out, but they actually are about like that. And so I am then going through with my hammer and whatever this thing is, we call it a doinker. And pushing them down in the rest of the way. So double the work and half the price. So yeah.